Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Oh, adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, the distinction between divine wealth and demoniac wealth. You are born to be wealthy. But you have to choose which type of wealth, demoniac or divine. If you chose divine wealth, you are at your highest. You become one with God. Demoniac wealth, so many hells are waiting for you. With that we continue. Also just let you recall, I'm reiterating. If you are developing Abhayam Sattva Sanshuddhi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthita, Abhayam, fearlessness, Sattva Sanshuddhi, purity of heart. If you are becoming rooted in Jnana and Yoga, here in this context, intellectual understanding and practical realization. Simply intellectual understanding is called Jnana. Bringing it in your life is yoga. In other words, it shouldn't be empty knowledge, palabras. It should be your experience. Jnana yoga vyavasthiti. Dhanam, damascha, yajnascha, charitable heart. Living to control the mind, senses, in order to utilize your spiritual resources. Yajna, allowing the negative aspect of yourself to be sublimated, sacrificed. The animal in you should be sacrificed. And you see it burn and become fragrant. I'm allowing your mind to stretch, you see. People have a hard time understanding. So they caught hold of animals and brought them into sacrifice. The real sacrifice, anger is a big animal. Sometimes it can be an ordinary fox, but sometimes it becomes a big lion. Sacrificing means sublimating. Swadhyaya, constant study. Study has a broad implication, not just reading, but to bringing it in life. Study of scriptures. Tapa, austerity. Austerity implies a process that allows your mind to become increasingly more and more concentrated, one point. Arjava, straightforwardness. Manasa, vacha, karmana, the way you understand in your mind. In your speech, you are in harmony with how you understand. Your action is also in harmony with your thinking, speaking. If that happens, it's called you are becoming Arjuna, Arjava, straightforwardness. Otherwise, Outwardly, you are a good person, straight. But the X-ray vision shows that you have a hump. Your head is shrinking. Your tongue is becoming big. And your hands are getting lots of claws, sharp. Becoming twisted, manasa, vacha, karmana, in your mind, in your speech, in your action. Teja, kshama, dhriti, shaucham. Teja. There is a potential, divine potentiality in everyone. Just like every flower has its potentiality to waft fragrance. How advanced you are, how much you are moving towards God realization. That creates an aura around you, and that's not easy to understand. That's not physical. So far, people don't have any instrument to measure that. But it is a super scientific fact. That's called teja. Simple point, simple way to understand. If you are, I give ordinary illustration, a student well prepared for his examination. He goes to his examination hall, his shining face, smiling. But the student was not prepared. Some darkness radiates from the face. Likewise, if you develop a profound feeling of unity with others, sarvabhut hite rata, a heart that has developed love for God and thereby loving all creation. I'm just putting you in a very advanced state. Now the radiation that comes from your face, the radiation of Krishna, of Christ, Rama, Kshama. Kshama means forgiveness. All these I have explained before in detail, so I am moving on. Dhriti, firmness. When you are following the spiritual path, develop firmness, don't be shaky. With a profound conviction, even this will pass away. Shaucham, purity of body and mind. Adroha, absence of animosity. Natimanita, literal meaning is not being too conceited. Atimanita, have a feeling of man, feeling of gaurav, feeling of self-dependence, that I can do it. That type of strength is perfectly normal. But when it becomes atimanita, it goes beyond the boundary of spiritual movement. Then that becomes demoniac. Natimanita, that type of tendency should not develop. In other words, in very simple terms, be humble. That these are the Daivi Sampat. Remembering these, and also the Gita has spread out divine qualities. In the second chapter, in the name of Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, divine qualities have been described. In another chapter, characteristics of of a bhakta, devotee, bhakta lakshanas. In another chapter, Trigunatita, the characteristics of one who has transcended the three gunas. In another chapter, Jnana Lakshanas, the characteristics of knowledge. They spread out, but this particular set combines all in an essence. And also you must understand Asuri Sampat, the demoniac wealth. Wealth is allegorical. Simply means demoniac characteristics. Dam, hypocrisy. Darp, conceit. Abhiman, pride. These are very closely knit, like synonyms, with slight difference. Conceit means your nose shrinks up, your eyes change, and you stay very quiet. You radiate negativity. Because deep down you are hating everybody. You have the idea, I'm the only one. Who is like me? That's called conceit. For what are you conceited? Abhiman, pride. Krodh, anger. Parushya, harsh speech. Harsh speech is negativity becomes more exaggerated. It means to ooze out of your tongue. And Agyan, staying stupid. Don't want to know. God, who cares? Let him be up there or let him not be there. Coming to 12th verse. Asha pasha shatair baddha kama krodha parayana ihante kama bhogartham anyayenartha sanchayan. Bound by fetters of numerous desires, obsessed by lust and anger, kama and krodha, they strive to acquire wealth by adopting unrighteous means for the sake of gratifying the senses. Always understand, senses, mind and senses, all these are your instruments. Senses are the horses. Mind is the reins by which horses are being pulled. Your intellect is driving the chariot or the horse. It should not be a drunk driver. And in modern technology, it shouldn't be operating with the computer type of thing. Texting and driving. And your soul is being led by that chariot. So in simple terms, you don't live just to please your senses. If you do, bound by fetters of numerous desires, the fetters in Sanskrit called pasha. I will give you importance of the word pasha. And in a gambling sport, it is pasha that is thrown. I will not go into that level. Dice is also called pasha. When the whole gambling is an allegorical expression in the scriptures. Mahabharata is filled with gambling. But the gambling relates to your karmas. If you are creating negative karmas, You are pursuing Shakuni's gambling, for those who have studied Mahabharata, which means ominous. The result will be terrible. Yudhishthira learns also the gambling to counteract Shakuni's gambling. That gamble is Dharma's gamble. Let me simplify it. Live your life in such a way that you build up divine impressions, positive impressions. When you are building positive impressions, you have done a positive gambling. Now your life, you don't know how things will happen, but they will happen in a positive way. But you are building up negative impressions, then you are pursuing the Shakuni's gambling, a demoniac movement. Your mind may be very clear, you may be feeling very proud of your goodness, but you never know how you can be provoked to be low-minded. This upshakun type, negative type movement. I've extended the meaning of pasha. I'm coming closer to more recognized meaning. There are 8 pashas, 8 fetters. Soul bonded by 8 pashas is like Pashu. The word Pashu is not meant to hate Pashus, animals, but to criticize souls, human souls, that are not following the path of Dharma. Call an animal, you are a Pashu. It doesn't matter. Call a human being, you are a Pashu. That matters. But what makes you Pashu? Dambha, Darpa. Let's see. Let me more precisely. Dambha, Darpa, etc. Ignore it because they come under Asuri Sampat. Technically, in scriptural language, Grina, hate. When you, in your dealings with others, when you always use Grina, teeth come out, even saying it. Developing contempt. Some of these become like addictions. Lajja, another one, which literally is the modesty, which has 2 implications. Modesty with a conceit, which takes you away from your sadhana. And that you have to figure out more. Next one called bhaya, fear. The more distant you are from God, the Godward mind, greater is your fear in life. Next is shanka, the mind that does not understand things with clarity but always doubts. Next is jugupsa, gossiping habit. The word gossiping habit applies to modern masses all over the world. Because that's what you do the whole day. Listen to the TV, and then what are you doing? Praising someone, criticizing somebody, and waiting for how things will happen next day. Your practical life has no meaning. The whole thing is called jugupsa. Kul, Sheel and Jati. Kul, I'm born in the family of some great personality. There's a whole mentality these days to find the roots. And you find yourself connected with the line of Alexander the Great. Or line of Ashoka. He's so powerful. That type of pride. Jati, born in a particular class. The class that exhibits its glory. Then, of course, turn your attention to, in India, there are 4 classes and there is constant conflict, looking down upon the Kshatriyas, looking down on Vaishyas, Vaishyas looking down on Shudras, and so forth, that type. But that type of distinction is all over the world. I will not go into details. All this, lot of discrimination goes on everywhere. And shield. Certain things, people feel that certain things define their greatness. To give it very in a simple way, a person comes to visit you and you judge the person on the basis of his necktie. You criticize your guests on the basis of how do they put this spoon, how do they handle it. You watch with attention how do they take the soup. All these are called pashas. 8 pashas. Asha pash. All your mental expectations are conditioned by these fetters. That's why the tradition of Sashtanga Pranam, people come into the presence of reverential people or presence of deity in the temple, and they bend down, allowing 8 parts of the body to touch the floor, thereby negating the 8 pashas. If you stay gripped by the 8 pashas and pursue that process that intensifies the pashas, then we call dusht. If you negate the 8 pashas, you are called shisht, for those who know Sanskrit. And for enjoying the objects of senses, they adopt unrighteous means. I've already mentioned to you a village talk. Get on by hook or by crook. Get honor. When you have sufficient money and wealth, then start showing you are an honorable person by doing some ostentatious good deeds. And then finally, allow them to praise you as the most honest people. Honor and honest. Kama bhogarthan. Now coming to more subtler understanding. You live not to intensify your desiring process. You live to terminate desires. Kama tripti. That's why the word nirvana is used. Nirvana means blowing out a flame. Flame is a symbol of kama, trishna, craving. Craving goes on burning like a flame. Your purpose of life is to allow that flame to become extinguished. Kama trip. But when you try to satisfy your desires, led by your ego, that process of satisfying desires does not remove the desires. The desires are never satisfied, like trying to extinguish fire by pouring little oil and ghee into it. Trishna na jirna vayameva jirna. Craving does not decay, but your body is decaying. Live a life where craving decays, not your body. 13th verse. Idam adya maya labdham imam prapye manoratham idam asti damapi me bhavishyati punardhanam. I have gained this today. Now I will fulfill another expectation. This wealth is already mine, and that wealth will also become mine. The wealth that is with others, that I'm also going to grab it. 14th verse. Asau maya hatah shatru hanishye chaparanapi ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. I have destroyed this enemy. Others will be destroyed by me. I am the Supreme Lord. I am the enjoyer, the perfect one. I am endowed with power. I am happy. All this doesn't need much explanations. You can look at Rajasic people all over the world. They come up with this type of mind. The scriptures give you the illustrations of Ravana, Kansa, Duryodhana. There is a village story relating to Mahabharata. The story is the Dronacharya placed a question. He asked Duryodhana, who is the best person in the world? That's your task, a research subject. Who is the best? And to Yudhishthira, who is the worst? After passage of some time, when they both came, Dronacharya asked, have you concluded your research? Duryodhana said, yes. What's your answer? Duryodhana said, I am. His head rose up. Because I thought you are the greatest, but when I look at you, your hairs are getting gray. I'm inflating this story. No one can equal me. I have 100 brothers, and all thing is under my command. That was the answer given by Duryodhana mind. And asked about and he asked Yudhishthira, said, "O Guru, I am the one. My whole mind has been looking for defects, and I'm full of defects. So to my mind, I am the one, the target of discovering, rather a target of removing defects. I have all the defects that I am so aware of, as if I am the worst. Now the simple moral of this story is, instead of finding defects in others and filling your mind with satisfaction, which is complete dullness, find your defects in an objective way, not in a sentimental way. Just like when you have certain type of difficulty in your body, you go to the doctor and you want to know what is causing this type of trouble. And when the doctor tells you the trouble, you don't hate the doctor. In the same way, that attitude should develop. What am I lacking? How can I overcome it? And that should engross your mind. Because that's the practical point. If you find a defect in you, you can work upon it. You find defect in others, you can't work upon that. Hating them, that is not an answer. Adhyo vijanavanasmi konyosti sadrisho maya yakshye dasyami modishye ityajnana vimohita. I am wealthy and born in a noble family. Who is equal to me? I will perform yajna, adopting righteous deeds with a sense of pride, egoistic pride. In other words, you do not have the real understanding of what is righteousness. You view the path of righteousness as a means to make you feel great. So great, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahman. And who is greater than Brahman? I don't believe in Brahman, but I am Brahman. Aneka chitta vibhranta mohajala samavrita prasaktaha kama bhogeshu patanti narakeshu chavu. Confused because of many evil desires, entangled by the snares of infatuation, intensely craving for the gratification of the senses, they fall into foul hell. Hell and heaven have been described, but all these are allegorical. In daily life, led by your negative karma, you experience hell, which implies sorrow, frustration, humiliation, fear, gripped by those 8 pashas. That type of life is hell. But, to your surprise, this hell has limitation. Sufferings that people experience, God has limited that sufferings while you are in embodiment. Beyond a certain degree of suffering, you become senseless. You faint. So the hell that you experience is under control while you are alive. After death, that controlling aspect is not there until you are reborn. So now the hell that is experienced by the soul is unimaginable. So that type of karmic story or that's the philosophy of karma, has to be understood. Similarly, when you are doing virtuous deeds, there are two stages of virtuous deeds. Doing virtuous deeds with expectation, with ego within you, ego-directed virtuous deeds. Those karmas bring you joyous conditions. Joyous conditions are heaven. But even that heaven is limited in embodiment. Tell a person, weak-hearted person, you have won a big lottery, and his heart will fail. So even experience of happiness arising out of your virtuous deeds is conditioned. The experience of heaven and hell goes on in every life, every person, every day. But they are limited, conditioned. They are controlling factors. But after death, the controlling factor is not there until you are reborn. So therefore, if you are led by virtue, there are the righteousness, it will open the door for intense pleasure. If your pleasure consisted in taking what's called ice cream, in heaven you will find yourself seated by the ocean of ice cream. And you have no problem with calories. Try to figure that out. This is allegorical. But when you are moving towards self-realization, these two possibilities of heaven and hell both are being transcended. First stage, you become more and more righteous. You prepare yourself for heaven, not for hell. Second point, not that relative heaven, that which purifies your heart, Chitta Shuddhi. Now we are moving on to Uttarayana, the northern course. In a highly allegorical way, those who have not chosen the northern path, they are going to hell. Hell after hell. Even the idea of heavenly pleasure to an advanced mind is a hellish condition. So that's what Gita means. Patanti narake shuchau. They fall into foul hell. And I will hold off at this stage. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti